Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. As you see right here, who is next in line to become the next Women's World Champion? At the last week's shocking events, as Rhea Ripley had to vacate her Women's World Championship due to injury, we will crown a new Women's World Champion in the main event for the Battle Royal. Who will become the new Women's World Champion? We'll get to it coming up. Also, too, speaking of champions, former champion Gunther, the former Intercontinental Champion Gunther, long-reigning Intercontinental Champion, cleared his sights on a new venture. We won't see what the new venture is coming up. Also, too, the World Tag Team Championships are on the line as the new champions, Miz and R-Truth, defend their goal against DIY. DIY is looking to give taste of some tag team goal, but they got to go through the new champions, Miz and Truth, to get it done. Speaking of tag team action, Andrade and Ricochet team up. Who could probably one day become tag team champions or contenders for the tag team title. Goes against the Judgment Days, Dominic Mysterio and JD Madonna. We're going to talk about that coming up. A lot going on, including NXT battle here reports on NXT and UFC joining forces. We'll see that. And we'll get to a little bit highlights. Swerve Strickland winning the AEW World Championship last night, but we'll have a video for that coming up. And we're hearing on Wrestling Hot Topic that Jacob Fatu may be coming to WWE immediately. You might not know. We'll get to that all when the Raw Ring Report starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Raw Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Raw Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Let's get started. I'm not gonna waste your time whatsoever. We'll get to a little bit later with the women's the Battle Royal for the Women's World Championship. That should be a stunner. That who's going to be, and I knew who was going to be the odds-on favorite to win it. Well, one of the odds-on favorite. But Mike Cole and Pat McAfee welcomed the crowd to give them a developing story about the Women's World Championship being vacant because of Rhea Ripley's injury. And Mike Cole and them did not waste no time whatsoever. Well, we kicked off with a opening segment with Jey Uso and Damian Priest. These two men will meet at Backlash for the World Championship. Jey Uso won a number one contenders match to earn this right to go against Damian Priest like 2 weeks ago after WrestleMania. Well, Damian was putting over Jey, talking about the bloodline and their factions and stuff working together. But Jey saying Damian getting a bit over his head as the world champion, saying that he's the one that's going to lead the Judgment Day. He's going to be the one that's going to lead Raw as his new champion. Damian Priest showing signs as being a transitional champion in a way, but Damian Priest wants to build himself up as the number one guy on Raw. But Jey Uso saying that he's going to take that championship away. He's going to make Damian yeet and eat in defeat and stuff. But we'll see how that's going to go. Speaking of Damian did help out his teammates, JD and Dominic, and telling JD and Dominic that hey, he's the leader. He don't need them; they need him. I think Damian getting a little bit over cocky and over jealous on the fact that of what he's saying. He's a world champion, but act like a world champion rather than trying to act like you're better. But you got to realize that JD and Dominic helped Damian to get to where he needs to be as a world champion. So I think Damian don't need to be too over jealous and get over his head that he's the main attraction. But we'll see on how that's going to go. But I think Damian was trying to make a point clear and louder about him being world champion and they're not being world champion. I don't think he should demean them, but they'll sooner be later be champions too. Dominic knows the thing about being a champion. JD close of being a champion. JD's competing in the speed tournament, the crown new speed champion on X. So you it takes time to be a champion. So we'll see. X Swerve Strickland. It took him hard work to become a champion, and we'll get the Swerve story a little bit later. Speaking of that, Miz and Truth defending the World Tag Team Championships. The Miz and R-Truth um, defending the World Tag Team Championships against DIY. DIY lost. You can tell Tommaso Ciampa was not feeling it, not having it. That he thought he had this match in the bag. Tommaso Ciampa likely looking like he's going to be blaming Johnny Gargano for his problems. Gargano took at the loss from the new tag team champions. But I think Ciampa wants to show who he really is. So we don't know what's going to go down. I think they should have waited them to be tag team champions, then they turn on each other. Same old NXT booking that Triple H is doing. Of course, who knows what's going to go down? Well, speaking of that, the former Intercontinental Champion, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion Gunther, appearing back on Raw since losing the championship at WrestleMania to Sami Zayn. Gunther, who's been a fighting defending champion, wants to have a new venture and wants to have a new mission. Gunther wants to enter the King of the Ring tournament, and Gunther will enter the King of the Ring tournament. And he plans on winning the King of the Ring tournament. Gunther wants to be the one to go on to new ventures after since he lost the Intercontinental Championship match. Well, we didn't have to wait too long after we found out that the New Day was coming out there to interrupt Imperium. Gunther didn't like that one bit. Gunther wanted the Imperium to defeat the New Day. Giovanni Vinci at the loss from Xavier Woods. You see Gunther looking right at Ludwig Kaiser. Tell Ludwig Kaiser he knows what to do. And Kaiser did, attacking Giovanni Vinci, attacking Giovanni Vinci out from behind. Giovanni Vinci did not see that coming. Giovanni Vinci getting attacked by his own teammate, um, Ludwig Kaiser. And that led to Gunther being impressed with Ludwig Kaiser attacking Giovanni Vinci, one of their stablemates, their teammates, for his own sick pleasure. I don't know why Gunther did what he did, but Ludwig Kaiser looked like he has a monkey off his back and has the weight of the world off of him. So only we will know what's going to happen with this interesting storyline going forward. Well, Sheamus. Sheamus came out there to confront Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre feels like he's on cloud nine. Drew McIntyre saying that he plans to enter the King of the Ring tournament as well. Drew McIntyre wants to enter the King of the Ring tournament to prove a point to himself that he can still go and do what he needs to do after he had everything going for him at WrestleMania and it all shattered down. Well, Sheamus came out there to trying to lift Drew's spirits and try to tell Drew to be accountable for his own actions. Drew wasn't hearing that. Drew didn't want to hear that one bit. Sheamus went in action early. Well, went on into action after he got confronted by Drew. Drew told Sheamus that he got fatter ever since his injury. And Sheamus went for an apparent neck injury. Drew went there, didn't have to go there, but he did. Sheamus went against Shinsuke Nakamura to get the win. It looks like we're gonna be seeing Drew versus Sheamus 1-on-1 um for a battle of respect, and Sheamus trying to beat some respect out of Drew. After Drew feels like he hasn't given Sheamus respect. Um, who knows what's gonna happen with that? Who's gonna go down with that? So we'll see if that's gonna go down eventually and how this is gonna be one way or another. But you can tell Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will have a feud heading towards probably King of the Ring when Backlash in, then King of the Ring coming. So we'll see. how that's gonna go forward. Well, we get to this. What do we get to? We get to. We know that next week on Raw, Logan Paul, the United States champion, will be on Raw. Why is Logan Paul coming to Raw? Logan Paul gonna get drafted. They telling us Logan Paul's gonna get drafted sooner rather than later. Logan Paul's gonna be a part-time champion. We'll see how this draft's gonna go and how this is gonna switch the different rosters of WWE. So we'll see how this is gonna go. Logan Paul live on Raw. Well, I really didn't know that. Speaking of that, Santos Escobar, well, everyone's playing around and look like everyone's going to be drafted to the show. Santos and his team's going to be drafted to Raw. I guarantee that they were just doing a test run and trying to see what Santos was going to do on Fella on Raw. So look for that. Speaking of that, Chad Gable decided to call out his teammates, American Alpha, and he wants them to pledge to him that they're going to help him no matter what, him winning the Intercontinental Championship away from Sami Zayn. A lot of them felt like it was kind of like out of Chad's character to even ask him that to cheat to win. After Chad tried his best last week on Raw and couldn't get the job done, so Chad wants to take it out his discretions on any and everybody that he thinks that could help him win the Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see how that's gonna go. But you can tell there's some distinction right there in the ranks between Chad Gable and American Alpha. Well, speaking of the Intercontinental Championship, Sammy got attacked by Chad last week due to their match after Chad showed his true colors. Well, Bronson Reed decided to take it a little bit further and attack Sami Zayn and beat up Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn really didn't have a good night as Intercontinental Champion um, tonight. Everyone's coming in for him and gunning for him, so we just had to wait and see and tell what's going to happen. But Sami Zayn having challenges coming left and right for him. Well, we get to the main event. It was chaos before the main event started. Liv Morgan going after Nia Jax. This was a battle royal for the Women's World Championship. The Women's World Championship was on the line. A battle royal to determine who will be the next Women's World Champion. This Women's World Championship match got into a fuzzy, even to the point that Becky Lynch encouraged I've Maxine Dupree that hey, give us some encouragement, saying, hey, this might not be your first time for a women's championship. Don't make it your last. I think Becky gave not Ivy and Maxine some encouraging words. The battle royal concluded with all the women of the Raw roster battling out who was going to be the next Women's World Champion. And it was a battle of nutrition between all the women of the Raw roster. And they tried to beat the hell out of each other left and right. Liv Morgan was out there, so we can tell who went out. But it depended. It went down to the final three: Nia, Becky, and Liv beating the hell out of each other. It was like of the Royal Rumble from 2019 when Becky and Nia was out there and stuff. Well, Becky Lynch emerged victorious over Liv Morgan. Becky Lynch started the month of April wrestling for the Women's World Championship. A couple of days later, wins the Women's World Championship after Rhea was out of commission. So Becky Lynch doing what she needed to do and doing and getting the job done one way or another. Becky Lynch wins the Women's World Championship in that high stakes battle royal that was unprecedented. We knew it was going to either be Becky or not or Nia, and it turned out to be Becky. Becky Lynch wins the women's battle royal, and it's crowned your new women's world champion. And what a way for Becky Lynch to end the show with the fans. Becky Lynch end the show with the fans. The fans are so happy that Becky Lynch came out there to meet and greet them as she is the People's Women's Champion. So we'll see. Becky Lynch has a lot on her plate. Who's going to be cunning for her for a Women's World Championship? I think Nia is going to be the first challenger. Uh, we'll see how that's going to go, one way or another. All right, that ends the Raw Ring report. Let's move over to the Smack to the Wrestling Hot Topics. Sorry about to say in the SmackDown report. Now we're hearing reports on Wrestling Hot Topics that Von Wagner, the big guy from NXT, has been released. Man, Von Wagner's been released. Man, anybody who needs a 7-foot giant, probably AEW. AEW don't do right with giants. Probably he needs to go to Impact or NWA or something. They'll utilize him to the best of his ability. So we'll see. Von Wagner has been released by WWE on the NXT. Also, too, we're hearing reports that Jacob Fatu, longtime MLW superstar and champion, heading his way to WWE. Jacob Fatu may be entering this bloodline situation and might be joining Solo and Tama Tonga as one of the informants or soldiers, Solo soldiers into this bloodline saga. Solo, thinking he's the tribal king now after Roman got laid out. We'll see. Speaking of that, NXT presents Battleground Las Vegas. We heard today that they in partnership with UFC that the NXT Battleground Las Vegas will take place at the UFC Apoplex, whatever that may be. So we'll see how this is gonna go sooner rather than later. Well, we know yesterday was a special night for Swerve Strickland. He became AEW's first black African American World Heavyweight Champion and the current champion. Swerve wants to usher in a new era. Swerve has ushered in a new era. I think they were doing that to Swerve just to try to get off that light of Tony Khan with the CM Punk situation and wanted to turn negative into a positive. And they did with a positive with Swerve as his new world champion. So we'll see. Also, too, we're hearing these codes and stuff that Bray Wyatt brother Bo Dallas may be coming at the untimely passing of Bray this past last year. Now getting a different look and different feel on what's going on with Uncle Howdy. All right, that's probably gonna do it here from Pro Wrestling Show. As we see three new champions, Moose, Cody, and Swerve. The championship will continue his lineage and stuff, and how that went down. So we're gonna end that right here on the Pro Wrestling Show with the man, Becky Lynch, winning the Women's World Championship tonight as a 7-time Women's Champion. Becky Lynch tied up there with Trish Stratus, 7-time Women's Champion. So for me being Kendra Dix, saying so long, see you tomorrow for the NXT Ring Report. See you later.